Almost from the very beginning, 20-something years ago, I started building my own equipment to try to save money. I would scrounge wood, I would use scrap wood, beg it off a construction site. But as we're scaling up now from hobbyist sideliner to something a little bit more serious, I'm starting to wonder if all this time in the wood shop is costing me more money than it's saving me. Let's find out. So here's the deal. I like woodworking. Making man glitter is F-U-N. It is. And let's face it, this is not fine furniture. You know, this is putting together some boxes that bugs are going to live in and leaving them outdoors. So my industrial arts education that I got in high school is plenty good for what we have to do. And I'll build supers, deeps, mediums, lids, bottom boards, all that fun stuff. But where I draw the line is frames. I don't make frames myself. Maybe I will in the future, but for right now, it's too many changes, too many cuts. You have to change the saw, need a router table. Probably would be best to have a nice joiner. You know, maybe I'll do that in the future, but frames, I don't build my own frames. I'll assemble them. I buy them by the box of 100, usually from Man Lake. And putting them together gives me plenty of shop time. One of the things that I think I need to keep a track of as we're getting larger is how much time am I actually spending in the shop doing woodworking, and is that worth it? Because let's face it, time in the wood shop is not time in the bees, and it's not that big of a deal if it's a cold winter's day and there's nothing else to do, but it really turns into a big deal when I'm out of equipment and I'm trying to rush around. It's the middle of spring and I'm trying to get something banged out here in the shop. A little over a year ago, I bought a load of rough-sawn pine from a guy that has a sawmill over in Athens. I wanted to work with it and see, you know, how it was going to do, if I could get it dried out, and if it was something that was easy enough to work with the machinery that I have so that I could build some boxes. Because if I can get my lumber costs down, then it starts to make sense having a wood shop again. And you know, what happened was I would go to the big box stores and I can't even buy the board, the raw material, for what I could purchase a budget deep from one of the bee supply houses. So it didn't even make sense. And at some point you just run out of free wood and recycled wood and scrap wood. So this has been a big experiment, and I gotta say, I've really enjoyed it so far, but I'm not entirely sure that it's going to pay off in an economic way. So one of the things I've decided to do is to keep a shop log. So I am this year writing down all the time that I spend in my shop so that I can allocate some cost to the business for the shop. If it turns out that this rough-sawn pine coming off of a sawmill makes sense, then yeah, I see a sawmill in our future. I have got acres and acres of pine trees that would make boards just like this. And then I just have to run them through a planer. I realize I don't have the super industrial heavy duty equipment yet, but everybody's got to start somewhere. I'm getting ready to make a batch of swarm traps. Swarm season looks like it's going to be on us before we know it, and I am quickly running out of scrap wood and recycled wood, so that's going to put a new wrinkle in things. I've still got that pile to work through that I got from the sawmill, which I think I'm going to earmark that just for deeps and maybe some mediums. But I'm really excited to get a different perspective on this as we're moving into something more of a serious business and not from a hobbyist or a sideliner kind of perspective. So I'm curious if any of you who are out there making hundreds of boxes a year, if you're actually tracking these kind of numbers and putting pencil to paper in this kind of way. Dogs! For any of you out there that are building hundreds of boxes a year, are you tracking your numbers this way, or are you just powering through it? Let me know in the comments. Part of what I really enjoy about beekeeping is the woodworking part of it. And it's a lot of fun. I think it's a really enjoyable part of the hobby. But if I'm going to upgrade this wood shop and maybe invest in some bigger and better equipment, more industrial type stuff, and really grow this thing up to where it's able to crank out lots of equipment, I really want to have some hard numbers behind that. So that's what I'm going to study this year and put a little bit of effort into figuring out the numbers. All right, I appreciate you watching. If you like what we're doing, you know what to do, and we will see you in the next one.